Welcome to SenterME, sis. I'm Charlotte Louis, self-love coach and innovator, owner of SenterME Self-Love for Black Women. We are here to give you tips, tools, and education on how you can break toxic cycles, build your self-esteem, and improve your emotional wellness. These are your self-love essentials. Now, today we are going to be talking about keeping it real. Now, keeping it real is one of our online self-development courses that you can take to help you improving your emotional wellness and learning how to process your emotions. But today we're going to be focusing on the R in keeping it real, which means reflecting, and why it's the only reason you should ever look back. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Keep It Real method. Now, this is a method that I created in helping you to process your emotions and process different experiences and circumstances that you may that may flow through you in life in general. And so the first step is reflecting. You want to make sure that you're able to extract value from this situation, value from these experiences, value from these emotions and feelings. And then we want to move on into expression. How do we express? How do we allow this to how do we purge this feeling, these emotions out? How do we get it from the inside to the outside and making it more real for us so that we're able to understand it and take a better look at it? And then the next step is acceptance. When we truly accept things and places and people for what they are, we are in a position to be able to say, or to make the executive decision of whether or not we want this in our self-love environment. And so this is really, really key in this entire process. Acceptance is can be the most difficult in this process because of the concept of me and what is mine and this attachment that we have to things. And so whenever we start to release the attachment and accept people, places, and things for exactly what it is that they are, we move ourselves naturally into the process of letting go. This whole method, this keeping it real with ourselves, is really going to help us in allowing things to flow easily through us as they are supposed to. And so we are going to dive more into detail on what it looks like to reflect, and again, why it is the only reason you should ever look back. All right, so before we get into the details of reflecting, I want you to click the link below to join our community at SenterME.com, Self-Love for Black Women. I want you to become a member because you deserve self-love support, and we are here to give it to you. If you're looking to help yourself break toxic cycles, build your self-esteem, and improve your emotional wellness, make sure you click the link to join the SenterME community today. All right, so what are we looking for when we are reflecting? We are looking for triggers. We are looking for your trigger. What triggered you to respond or react the way that you reacted? What triggered the emotional response that you had to this situation? Or what triggered you to be in the emotional state that you're in, right? So when we start reflecting, we'll find, and I know you're probably thinking, girl, I know what made me mad. Girl, I know what made me sad. Girl, I know what happened. But when we go back and we reflect, one of the key things that we want to make sure that we're doing when we're reflecting is being honest with ourselves, being open, present, and honest. You have to start allowing yourself to be vulnerable with you. This ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. This is all you, sis. So when you are reflecting, I want you to look for these triggers. What was it that triggered this emotional state that I'm in? And why? Why do I feel this way? Why was this the emotion that came in response to this situation? And when we find that being honest with ourselves and embracing that vulnerability is going to help us become more closer to our authenticity, this is what's going to help us grow and expand in our self-awareness. And one of the huge benefits to reflecting with honesty, is that when we identify our true triggers, and when we dig deep and ask ourselves questions that get us to our true root cause, our true root emotional response, what we'll find is moving forward, nothing that triggers you, that thing that triggered you before, it doesn't have the power to trigger you again. I'm not saying that you're never going to be triggered again. I'm saying that this particular situation is not going to trigger you anymore because you're doing the work. You're figuring out what it was that triggered you about it, and you're doing something about it. You're healing through this process. You're allowing it to flow through you. And reflecting really helps us to go back and find that value of why we are experiencing the emotions and feelings that we're feeling right now. And when we find that value, because our emotions are going to teach us a lot about ourselves. Because let me tell you something, I didn't find out that I had a fear of abandonment just out of dumb luck. I had to do the work. I had to start reflecting. Why do I keep putting myself in these toxic and abusive relationships with past partners, friends, and family? Why do I keep doing this to myself? Why do I keep suppressing this sadness? Why do I keep suppressing this pain? So when you do the work and when you are reflecting and you're going back and you're looking for these triggers and you're analyzing your response to it, you are extracting value. You are learning about yourself. You are improving your self-awareness, and you are growing. The same trigger is not going to trigger you twice when you're doing this right. All right. So when we are going back and reflecting, we are looking for our triggers. We are analyzing our emotional response to them. And we're asking ourselves questions. Why? Why was this a trigger? Why was this my emotional response? And when we dig deep, we'll come back with this value that'll give us the confidence and the security that'll help us move to that next step, which is expressing. Listen, sis, we are going to be doing a private refresh and reconnect online workshop on reflecting September 3rd, 2022. Make sure that you are clicking the link below to get your ticket today. All right, Charlotte, where do I reflect? Where do I reflect? This is a great question because a lot of times we find ourselves compartmentalizing or suppressing our emotions in professional settings, whether it be in business, the office, or whatnot. We don't find it appropriate to go ahead and keep it real in those avenues. But I will say this: the more acclimated you get with keeping it real, the more you'll find healthier ways, healthier avenues to process your emotions, even in professional settings. And so, but if you're not there yet, you can always wait until you get into a space that is open, safe, supportive, and healthy for you. So if you want to go home, if you want to wait until you can talk to your coach, wait till you can talk to your therapist, wait until you can get home and journal. I want you to be in a space that you feel comfortable in. That is most important. You want to be able to feel comfortable enough so that you can allow yourself to be vulnerable in this process. How often should I be reflecting, Charlotte? Listen, you can reflect as often as you need to. Listen, we're human, so we're going to be experiencing emotions day in and day out. So if you are new to processing your emotions, you're going to spend a lot of time reflecting, hopefully, because this is what healing looks like. And whenever we are making sure that we're taking the time out to reflect, make sure that you celebrate yourself in that. Because anytime that you find yourself saying, you know what, I have to unpack this, I need to process this, I need to go back and I need to reflect, that is a win. That is a win. That is you being aware of your emotional state. That is you being aware of how you are feeling. That is you being aware of you, sis. So reflect however much you need to in order to get her done. All right. So make sure that you are always reflecting when you need it. Always reflect when you need it. Don't ever find yourself suppressing, compartmentalizing, neglecting, avoiding your feelings, because they don't go anywhere. They don't go anywhere. You know, when we hold on to them for too long, they become who we are. And I doubt you want to be walking around here trying to receive love through all this unprocessed anger and sadness, right? So make sure that you're taking the time out to reflect however much you need to in order to get you to that next step in expressing, followed by acceptance, followed by letting it go. All right, sis. Are you reflecting? Are you taking time to reflect on your emotional state, your feelings, your triggers? What are you doing to help you process your emotions? Make sure that you are sharing your experience, reflecting in the comments. If you have any questions or concerns, make sure you drop them in the comments. I'm monitoring them. You're going to get my response. And make sure that you are tapping into the SenterME community. Listen, we are here to help you in establishing and maintaining your self-love journey, sis. So make sure you hit us up in the comments. Thank you so much for being here. I am sending you so much love, so much peace, and so much light.